Welcome to home video assignment number 3. You can practice these skills on your own, but you will need a partner in order to record these performances. You will be performing 7 tasks, 3 variations of tying around a clamp, and 4 variations of suture ligation. Please make sure that you are within the time limit and also that you release the clamp in order to correctly cinch down the first knot. Before moving on to the tasks, we should review the techniques of correct assistance. Notice the minor adjustments of the clamp made by the assistant in order to optimize the performance of the surgeon. As the tie is being passed behind the clamp, the heel of the clamp is rotated forward to create more room, and then as the tie is being passed in front of the clamp, the tip of the clamp is rotated upwards in order to facilitate this movement. As the knot is being formed, the tip of the clamp is rotated sideways to prevent slippage of the thread. You cannot fully secure a knot with the clamp still in place because the clamp stretches the tissue apart. So you must partially lay the knot down and then have your assistant remove the clamp as you complete cinching down the knot. Square knot around the clamp with a free tie, 6 throws, 45-second time limit. For our apparatus, we use a 1/4 inch Penrose drain and a curved clamp. This task is done on the surface. A free 2/0 silk tie is passed around the clamp and then crossed prior to initiating the first knot. The first knot is laid down flat. The clamp is removed in order to tie the knot down securely. And then on the second knot, the hands are crossed. The knot is laid down flat in order to tie a correct square knot. Each alternate knot should be also then crossed. The knot should be tied right underneath the clamp in order to avoid tying underlying structures inadvertently. Tying square knots around the clamp using a tie on a passer, 6 throws, 45-second time limit. For our apparatus, we use a 1/4 inch Penrose drain and a right angle clamp. To simulate tying at depth, we place the drain around a hook inside a small cylinder on our knot board. A curved clamp is used to pass a 2/0 silk tie around the Penrose drain. The tie is released and crossed prior to initiating the first tie, as this is a square knot and you want to avoid crossing your hands awkwardly with a clamp holding the tissue in place. The clamp is released in order to properly secure the first knot, and then the hands are crossed on every other knot. Tying slip knots around the clamp using a tie on a passer, 6 throws, 45-second time limit. A major difference for this task is that you do not have to cross your ties prior to tying the first knot, so you can actually use your passer to help form the first knot. So we used a deep apparatus to simulate tying at depth. The passer is used to smoothly form the first knot. As these are slip knot half hitches, you do not have to cross on alternate throws. However, the half hitch is less secure than a flat overhand knot, which means the first knot is more likely to unravel. So you must be especially careful to cinch the first knot down securely and to avoid bouncing between the first and second knot. Suture ligation at depth using the Haney stitch, 4 knots, 60-second time limit. With this technique, the needle is passed twice through the tissue, wrapping the suture around the back of the clamp and then wrapping it around the front of the clamp on the second pass. Alternatively, you can pass the suture around the front of the clamp first and then back on the second pass. After the second pass, 4 knots are laid down with the clamp removed on the first knot. Suture ligation at the surface using the Haney stitch, 4 knots, 60-second time limit. There's a difference in how the clamps are held and how the sutures are passed depending on whether you are working at the surface or at depth. As you can see, the clamp at the surface is held with the wrist typically supinated, and after the first pass of the needle through the tissue, the suture is gently wrapped around the back and passed between the hand and the clamp with minimal movement of the clamp itself. With the second passage of the needle and wrapping of the suture in front of the clamp, the technique is same for both at depth and at the surface. Now here's a segment from the prior video showing how that clamp is handled at depth. As you can see, the wrist is in a pronated position, and after the first pass of the suture, the needle is grasped behind the clamp. Suture ligation with an assistant holding the clamp using the Haney stitch. 4 knots, 60-second time limit. In this case, the assistant holds the clamp throughout the entire process. So the surgeon uses forceps and a needle driver to pass the needle and the suture around the clamp. Correct assistance from your partner is crucial for performing these tasks smoothly, so please review and pay attention to the minor adjustments made in the clamp position by the partner in this video clip. Suture ligation using the conventional technique. 4 knots, 60-second time limit. The assistant holds the clamp throughout the task. The needle is passed once rather than twice through the tissue. A single knot is then laid down, and then the tail of the suture is wrapped around the entire structure, and then additional knots are tied to secure the tissue.